Have you ever felt something so raw, so intense, so profound that you couldn't quite put it into words? A moment or an experience which was beyond your capacity to explain. Today we're going to be looking at the concept of the real, a concept which is given great importance within yoga philosophy and within the field of psychoanalysis. It's a concept which challenges how we perceive and understand reality. It questions who we are beyond language, beyond convention, beyond all that we can fully grasp. The real within psychoanalysis, particularly Lacanian psychoanalysis, is commonly explained in relation to the symbolic. The symbolic is everything which allows us to give meaning to our lived experience. It includes concepts, language, and structures. The real, then, is everything which falls outside of the symbolic. The real is that which might be referred to as being raw, untamed, organic, unpredictable, beyond the capacity to put into words, beyond the capacity to be tied down. The symbolic is everything which we have used, the different mechanisms and tools that we use to try and regulate and manage the real. Language is a fundamental part of that. Now, the challenge for us is in the fact that these tools that we use to regulate and give meaning to our lived experience begin to trap us, where we begin to perceive reality as being the symbolic, negating the very presence of the real. But we are reminded on certain occasions, when language fails us, that the real is what is at the core of our lived experience. So language plays a dual role within our lives. On the one hand, it's a tool which allows us to communicate, to organize, and to give meaning to our lived experience. On the other hand, however, it's a trap which keeps us away from the immediacy of our lived experience. The real doesn't fit neatly into words. When we have an experience which is intense, maybe we've lost a loved one, it's very difficult, as much as we might try, to articulate and put into words what that actually feels like. And this is why encounters with the real can be extremely unsettling. And they may be brought about as a consequence of some trauma or a desire which is at play at a deeper level, that when we are confronted with it, we do not have a means to manage, to tame, to control it. And so it leaves us feeling at odds with our lived experience. The real is not something which is just simply outside of the symbolic or outside of language. The real is existing in and of itself as that potency, that energy which is driving us, whether we might be aware of it or not. Take desire, for example. Desire is a perfect expression of the real. As much as we might try to name our desire, to understand it, to channel it, it remains ever elusive, but all the while pulling us this way and that, determining and shaping our experience in a manner where we're not able to put it into words, to articulate what's going on. In yoga philosophy, a great deal of importance is given to our capacity to discern the real from the unreal. And the real is often spoken about in relation to the Purusha, the seer, the witnessing presence which exists beyond the movements and fluctuations in the mind. The Purusha is not something which can be defined or grasped at, but it is something which we can experience directly, having stilled the mind and attuned ourselves to our innermost level of being. So why does all this matter? Why should we care so much about the real? Well, if we live our lives predominantly through the symbolic, through our concepts, our ideas, through language, through our societal conventions, through our cultural norms, and all the other structures that we have in place, while it might provide us with a degree of comfort and security, it prevents us from experiencing the very raw potency of life itself. We become stuck in illusions, not able to experience the discomfort and the beauty at the core of life itself. Engaging with the real means coming face to face with what we've repressed and working through it, embracing uncertainty and navigating the messy, unpredictable nature of life in a way which is authentic. From a psychoanalytical point of view, when we examine our relationship with the real, we're able to look at our fears and our desires and how they get in the way and call out and question our carefully crafted image of who we believe ourselves to be. From a yogic point of view, it means quietening our minds so that we can move deeper and deeper towards experiencing our unchanging, essential nature. The real is not something which we can conquer, that we can master, that we can have full understanding of. The real is that which escapes us in the words that we try to put on it. It's those experiences of intense longing, but also those moments of deep, profound stillness. So I leave you with this question. What's your experience of the real? Have you ever felt something which you weren't able to put into words, but which was undeniably true? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your reflections. And if this exploration of the real resonated with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next deep dive into the intersections between psychoanalysis and yoga. Take care.